Okay, now we're going to cover the individual glands or parts of the endocrine system. We already touched a little bit on the hypothalamus and pituitary. Hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is part of the diencephalon. It's all part of your forebrain. And as I said, it incorporates all the stimuli, like for example, levels of hormones, uh, physical and emotional status of a given person, and then tells the rest of the endocrine system to produce adequate uh, amount of hormones. So hypothalamus sometimes is named the control center of the endocrine system. I'm going to be talking about it in much more detail later. Then you have your pituitary gland. Pituitary. And pituitary really takes the stimuli from hypothalamus, which already are, let's say, hormonal in nature. And then the pituitary produces different set of hormones based on the hormonal signals from hypothalamus. And then these hormones from pituitary will enter the systemic circulation and they will reach their finite organs, right? So let's say pituitary produces something called thyroid stimulating hormone. The thyroid stimulating hormone will enter systemic circulation and reach the thyroid gland, and it will stimulate the thyroid gland to produce the thyroid hormones. The thing about hypothalamus is that indeed produces hormones, quite a lot of them. However, most of these hormones never reach the systemic circulation. Now, most of the hormones produced in hypothalamus get sent to the pituitary through special circulation, special set of blood vessels. In pituitary, they are, let's say, caught and they don't make it through. So if you were to measure levels of hormones in the blood, maybe in some peripheral vein, you would not find any reasonable amounts of hypothalamic hormones. However, you would find very reasonable and measurable amounts of the pituitary hormones. Okay. Then next would be the thyroid hormone, the thyroid gland. Let's pick some nice color for thyroid gland, pink. Thyroid gland located in front of the thyroid cartilage. It is butterfly shaped. Right? And thyroid gland produces thyroid hormones. Sometimes they are abbreviated as T3 or T4. Most likely you know them as thyroxine and triiodothyronine. These hormones, they stimulate the metabolism of cells of your body and they're capable of increase it, right? So people who have hyperthyroidism, lots of thyroid hormones, they burn lots of calories just by sitting around. People who have hypothyroidism, they really struggle to lose some weight. So, thyroid gland. Thyroid gland. Now, inside the thyroid gland, there is 2 to 6, but usually 4 in total, interspersed bodies called parathyroid bodies or parathyroid glands. And these are not related to thyroid at all, except for the location. Parathyroid. They have different origin and different function. They are still part of the endocrine system, but they do not play a role in the energy metabolism of our body cells. Instead, they play a role in calcium metabolism. Parathyroid bodies produce parathyroid hormone, PTH, whose final effects are to increase the levels of calcium in the blood plasma and decrease the levels of phosphate in the plasma. Okay, then next we have the adrenal glands. Adrenal glands are these are triangular or cap-shaped glands above the kidneys. And they have two major parts, cortex and medulla. We're going to definitely be talking about them all. But in the cortex, you are producing steroid hormones, and in the medulla, you are producing catecholamines like adrenaline, noradrenaline, and stuff. So adrenal glands. Ad means above, renals, kidney, right? So name is obvious. And then we have the gonads. So testes in male, ovaries in female. About gonads we talked already during our reproductive system talk. So you already have an idea what to expect. So androgens like testosterone in males, estrogens and progestin in females. Okay, these glands that I sketched so far are part of the same axis, right? So what I mean is that gonads produce testosterone, and then this testosterone levels are sensed by hypothalamus, which tells pituitary to produce stimulating hormones to those testes, and then adequate amounts of testosterone are produced further. However, there are also some glands that work semi-independently or completely independently of this axis. And there are two major examples that you should know. So first example would be the pineal gland, also part of the diencephalon, so pineal. Pineal gland produces melatonin, and melatonin makes you sleep. Pineal gland also is connected to the cells of your retina, and if you ever heard that you should not really use your phone hour or 2 hours before you sleep, pineal gland is the reason, right? So if your retinal cells are getting stimulated by the light, especially the blue light, they will tell pineal glands not to produce the melatonin. Once darkness hits, your pineal gland will start producing melatonin, and melatonin will prepare your body to sleep. This functioned perfectly in the past where we did not have any artificial light, or maybe a little bit of candlelight. Now where screens and lights and everything are everywhere, this mechanism might seriously hamper our sleep, right? Which might then have many results further. And then another part of the endocrine system that is not really under the influence of the hypothalamus. I mean, it is to a certain extent, but majorly it functions independently. It would be the islets of Langerhans in the pancreas. Let me pick some nice color, maybe dark blue. So again, you know pancreas as exocrine gland. However, inside the pancreas, let's say 2% of its volume is occupied by the islets of Langerhans. And these islets of Langerhans produce certain hormones. And the most well-known and most important are the glucagon and insulin. And they play major, they are the major players in regulating the serum levels of glucose. And if there's any issue with insulin or glucagon production, you might end up with diabetes or hypoglycemia, which would be like the opposite of diabetes. Okay, so this is the overview of the glands of the endocrine system. And now we're going to be talking a little bit about each.